All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Keebs in Focus. This is episode 2. Today we will be checking out these 4 keyboards. We have the TKC Portico, KBD67 Lite, we have got the gmmk Pro from Glorious, and the Ramaworks Kara. Now, there's a lot of people coming into the hobby and want something that is not too expensive, but good. So today we'll be looking out on these 4 entry-level keyboards and see which one is the best value and offers the best typing experience. I will show you guys a mini review of each of these boards so you guys can better understand each one, and hopefully you can decide on which one you want for your next board or your first board. So, talk about where to get these keyboards, because a lot of people are confused on how to get it and stuff. This is the KBD67 Lite R2. It is sold by KBD fans, probably the easiest website to get a lot of keyboard parts, and it ships worldwide as well, so it's pretty available. It is out of stock right now, but the new R2 batches are coming into shipping, so you should see a lot of these probably in stock or maybe in the marketplace, so in your local communities, so it should be quite accessible to get. And yeah, it is $110. Now the TKC Portico is a $135 keyboard. It is only available on switchkeys.au and TKC himself, the key.company in the US. Now, it's out of stock because it's out of GB, and so you can't really get it much, and probably in some regions it is quite difficult to get the Portico due to the large shipping prices from US and Australia. Right, we have the Ramaworks Kara. So this board was sold by Ramaworks on GB around December last year. So this is only sold in Ramaworks store, the website. It's gonna come in R2 soon, so you can join the GB. You can check out Ramaworks up for updates on this board. But this is a $180 keyboard without the dampener. Right, the last one we have is the Glorious gmmk Pro. I believe lots of stores have this in stock, even though it usually sells out pretty quickly, but Glorious is shipping their new batches out as well, so hopefully more stores are available with this board. It was on pre-order last year around the same time with the Ramaworks Kara, but yeah, this is a $169 keyboard. Right, now for build quality. So the KBD67 Lite is a plastic keyboard. It is made out of ABS plastic. It's quite nice, actually. It's quite a sturdy plastic. I wouldn't really complain too much. Yeah, it looks nice. It comes in different colors as well. There is not a lot of give in the middle because it does have a silicone dampening mount. I'll talk about it later in the typing experience. But yeah, overall build quality, and for what you get a carrying case, you get a USB-C cable, get extra standoffs and stuff, so it's already a pretty good board. KBD67 Lite. So next we have the TKC Portico. I think from all of these boards, this is the cheapest feeling one. This does have a polycarbonate, like a thin polycarbonate case. It feels quite flimsy in some areas, especially this top area here. It's quite flimsy, feels quite fragile. It wiggles a little bit when you move it side to side. But yeah, here's the back of the keyboard. Yeah, it's not the best quality of plastic, but it does the job, so I'm not complaining as much. So this is the Ramaworks Kara now. The build quality is okay. I complained on my stream, it felt a little bit toyish. Felt like a toy. It was pretty fragile in some areas, especially this back area. There's some cracking noises when you try and move the keyboard side to side. The bottoms, it's pretty decent. The screws are really nice on the Ramaworks ones, but this is under the KBD67 Lite, in my opinion. It's just a little bit toyish or cheap feeling. Next, we have the glorious gmmk Pro, which is probably the best build quality keyboard out of all of this. Clearly, this is the only keyboard that offers an aluminum case. So this is all made out of aluminum. It has an aluminum plate built in as well, and a rotary knob. So yeah, it's quite heavy. It's quite heavy, and it's quite very well machined aluminum. So well done to Glorious. Right. Next, we're gonna talk about what you get. So again, this gets a carrying case. You get a polycarbonate plate, a dampener for the plate foam. You get a case foam as well. You also get cherry screw-in stabilizers that are pre-lubed and already fixed into the keyboard, so they are already quite well done, actually. You get a coiled USB-C, you get some standoffs, extra feet, I believe, and a screw. You get a screw to open this keyboard up, so you don't have to find your different screws and stuff, so it's pretty handy. So for the TKC Portico, you do get a carrying case as well. You do get a very long USB-C cable. You do get C3 equal stabs, which is more expensive than Cherry, but these stabs are not built yet, so you need to tune it yourself and build it. Maybe it's not the best for beginners, since C3 is also quite poor recently. So yeah, this also gets the plate foam and the case foam as well, and it has an FR4 plate. The Ramaworks Kara, you get a screw. Yeah, you get a screw and a box. That's it. Yeah. So for the internal dampener, which is quite needed on this board, I would argue that it is very necessary to have it. It's $30 extra. It's not included as well. So this is the most bare bones, I believe. So it's not the best. For the gmmk Pro, you do get stabilizers included inside. They are poor though. The glorious goat stabs are very bad. You need to tune that. And yeah, you get a switch puller that's bad. It's not good switch puller. You get a keycap puller as well. And extra gaskets. Right. So, typing feel. I guess a lot of people that are new to this hobby won't really know the differences of typing feel, but I'll try and describe it as best as I can. So for the KBD67 Lite, it has quite a stiff typing feel. Because the plate foam is so large and it's silicone and it's essential, so you can't take it off, the typing feel is quite stiff. So it doesn't go down as much. Doesn't have too much give, but it's not stiff to a point where you feel like you're typing on a brass keyboard or an aluminum keyboard. It's pretty enjoyable. If you like typing on something that's not too bouncy or flexy, this is a pretty good keyboard. Now for the Portico, this keyboard is the one that implements the gasket mount to a T. This has a soft typing experience. There's a little bit of bounce and flex in some areas of the board, especially if you don't use the case foam under it. This is a lot better. Very nice typing feel, very soft, very enjoyable. So I think this one is the best for typing experience. The Ramaworks Kara, unfortunately, it's quite stiff as well. The Ramaworks Kara is not as bouncy as this. this does not implement the gasket mount, even though it's not really a gasket mount. It's quite vague, but it's quite stiff in some areas, especially in the middle, where you would assume the middle usually has the most give. This one is the stiffest area of the board, actually. So I wouldn't really like typing on the Ramaworks Kara as much. And it's HHKB layout as well, so it might be a difficult change for some people who especially play games they don't have the control. So lastly, the gmmk Pro. This is also a gasket mount keyboard. It uses an alu plate. It offers brass plate and also a polycarbonate plate, so you can change it out. But for this, it's quite stiff in some areas, but it's not stiff to the point, again, like the 67 Lite. It's not stiff to the point where it's like you're typing on a rock, but this is decently enjoyable. I think the polycarbonate plate would feel better, and the gasket mount is a little bit too shallow for this, so it's a little bit stiffer. So yeah. So for sound, which one's the best for sound? So for me, KBD67 Lite is still the best for sound. I think this board really caters to a lot of the majority of the market that are coming into the keyboard scene. This sounds thocky or deep, and it's quite muted. Not really muted sometimes, but if you have the right switches, this can be a really good sounding keyboard. Yeah, this sounds very, very nice, and a lot of people and content creators have praised the sound of this. Very nice. The TKC Portico surprised me a lot with the sound. I tried it with different configurations. I found that using the plate foam and without the case foam, I did prefer the sound of that. And you can customize it any way you want, with or without the foams. So it's pretty nice. I think this sounds quite muted because of the FR4 plate, but it's quite nice. It's very nice sound as well. It's clean. The Ramaworks Kara, it's not a pleasing sound. It sounds kind of cheap, to be honest. In my opinion, it sounds kind of cheap. It has a little bit of lower pitch to the sound, but it's not as low pitched as this, and it's not as loud. It just sounds weird. It sounds in the middle between these two, but it's stuck in that nowhere land of good sound. So it's kind of a shame for this board, especially it's considered the most expensive out of all of these. So the gmmk Pro has a quite lower pitch as well, and it's quite muted because it has the plate foam and case foam in it. It's quite muted. You can get a lot of, if you get a louder switch, for example, like Novel Keys Creams or Duroc Palms, you might get a louder sound from the gmmk Pro that's quite low pitch, which is actually pretty good. So still for sound, I would prefer this though out of all of them. Probably these two are similar. This is the worst sounding one. All right, so a little bit of a final conclusion. Hopefully it doesn't go too long, but out of all these four boards, the one that I would take out the most is the Ramaworks Kara. I would take it out. It's not a good keyboard. It offers the difficulty of building it is quite hard as well. This is the hardest one to build. This is the third. These two are very similar, very easy to build for beginners. This is not easy to build. Has a lot of parts and stuff. Doesn't sound good. It's the most expensive. Typing feel is also not too good. You don't get a lot with this keyboard. It doesn't offer a lot of value, the Ramaworks Kara, so it's kind of a shame. So we're gonna take it out of the equation. Okay, we have the gmmk Pro, 67 Lite, and TKC Portico. Now, which one do I want? So this is a $169 keyboard. It's fully aluminum, so if you guys like RGB as well, there's RGB strips around. But what this keyboard lacks is, again, customized sorry, not customizability, the easiness to build it. The amount of screws on a gasket mount keyboard like this is ridiculous. It has too many screws, plus you need to treat the horrible stabs that come with it, so it might not be the best for beginners. Even though it's hot swap, it's alu, it might look premium, doesn't offer the most. You don't get a carrying case as well for this. It's quite unfortunate. I think it's a great value keyboard for its price, but I think for most beginners, this is not really the option that I would suggest moving forward. So we'll take it out of the equation as well. Now we're left with these two keyboards, TKC Portico or KBD67 Lite. Now I want to view this as through the eyes of somebody who's coming into the hobby, who just started wanting to try mechanical keyboards. Which one would I choose? KBD67 Lite. I choose this for the best budget entry mechanical keyboard yet. Why is it the best? People coming into the hobby, again, are very partial to a lot of things. When they come into the hobby, especially in this COVID times, they can't really try out keyboards. They don't know what typing feel differences. The looks is quite clean as well. 65% is quite easy to get into. And sound is an important thing, because you look at YouTube and look at reviews, and sound is something that you can hear and you can know, oh, this sounds nice. So this is the best sounding keyboard out of all of them. So yeah, would apply the best to a lot of the audiences. This also has a lot of customizability, which beats the Portico. That's what beats the Portico in my opinion. The customizability and the ease of access moving forward into the hobby. So now this keyboard is a plastic case, but it offers lots of colors. And then now KBD fans release a V3 case of the KBD67, which fits the internals of this into that case. So if you want a aluminum keyboard, you can upgrade the case from this to the aluminum case. So that's very nice from KBD fans. I think that's well thought out. So this keyboard, the KBD67 Lite, is the ultimate budget mechanical keyboard kit you should buy. And I even recommend it for some enthusiasts who want something that's easy to carry. Right. But looking onto the eyes of a enthusiast, myself, somebody who's tried a lot of keyboards, expensive ones, mid-range ones, budget ones as well, I prefer this. Why do I prefer the TKC Portico over KBD67 Lite as an enthusiast? Because this implements gasket mount really, really well. It has a really nice typing experience. I think it has a pretty good sound just under this. Has a pretty good sound, nice customizability. It's also easy to open up and fix. And I think the FR4 plate is my preference. I think FR4 plates sounds well. They sound really nice on a lot of switches. But yeah, as an enthusiast, I'll pick this. But as a beginner who's coming into the keyboard scene, the KBD67 Lite is your option. Is the best option out of all of it. So I guess that is basically my review, and hopefully it clears you up on which is the best keyboard for you to purchase. Hopefully there's more keyboard kits coming out in the future. I did not mention the NK65 entry edition here because I think that is a really, really poor keyboard. I do not recommend it at all. So if you guys want to buy these keyboards, I will leave a link in the description. Hopefully it all helps you guys out. So that's me from Keebs. Thank you for joining in for Keebs in Focus episode 2. More episodes in the upcoming future. So see you guys. Thank you so much.